let me introduce to you our speaker in this conference. His name is Juan Quintana. He has been a teacher of English at Instituto Cultural Peruano Norteamericano in Lima for almost 15 years. His main interests are second language acquisition and digital technology applied to teaching English as a foreign language. He has presented in IAT TEFL 54th International Conference in June and has published in IAT EFL Voices magazine in September. He likes reading and writing in French, and he has published an article in a French newspaper in July this year. He has recently passed the exam to obtain the C1 International Certificate in French, and he's waiting for the results. In his free time, he goes running and spending time with close friends.
On commence. Vous voyez mon écran? Oui? Oui, c'est parti? C'est parti, bonjour. Soyez les bienvenus dans cette classe. Je m'appelle Juan Quintana. Je suis enseignant d'anglais et je suis péruvien. C'est mon pays, le Pérou. Je répète, je me présente. Je m'appelle Juan Quintana. Je suis enseignant d'anglais et je suis péruvien. Alors, comment ça va? Répétez, hein? Je parle et vous, répétez. Comment ça va?
Comment ça va?
Merci. Très bien, merci.
Très bien, merci.
Bien, merci.
Bien, merci.
Ça va?
Ça va.
Ça ne va pas.
Ça ne va pas.
Très bien, Myriam. Très bien. Encore une fois. Comment ça va? Répétez, Myriam. Comment ça va?
Comment ça va?
Très bien, merci.
Très bien, merci.
Bien, merci.
Bien, merci.
Ça va?
Ça va.
Ça ne va pas.
Ça ne va pas.
Bravo. Bravo. Et on continue. Hein? Répétez. Répétez, non? Les phrases en français. Et comment on dit teacher en français? Non? Comment on dit teacher en français? C'est
Comment
enseignante. Myriam?
on dit teacher en français? C'est enseignant.
Très bien, très bien. Encore une fois. Comment on dit teacher en français, Myriam?
Comment on dit teacher en français?
C'est enseignant.
C'est enseignant.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Bravo. Et c'est teacher ou enseignante masculin. Masculin. Encore une fois. Qu'est-ce qu'enseignant signifie? Répétez, Myriam, s'il vous plaît. Qu'est-ce qu'enseignant signifie?
Qu'est-ce qu'enseignant signifie?
Très bien, non? La signification, non? La signification, non? Qu'est-ce qu'enseignant signifie? C'est teacher.
C'est teacher.
Très bien. Teacher féminin, non? Féminin, féminin. Encore une fois. Comment on dit teacher en français, Myriam?
Comment on dit teacher en français?
C'est enseignante.
C'est enseignante.
Encore une fois, c'est enseignante.
C'est enseignante.
Très bien. La différence. Enseignante, masculin. Enseignante, féminin. Très bien. Involontaire. Involontaire, s'il vous plaît. J'arrête la présentation. Involontaire, Jackie et Jenny, non? Ou Jotan. Ah, Miriam. No, Miriam is Miriam. Jenny. Jenny Chavez.
Yes,
C'est bon.
if you please request to open your microphones so we can participate in this class, in this part.
Merci. Miriam est ma traductrice, non, dans ces séances. On continue, Miriam. Non? On continue. On continue. Et ici. Maintenant, on va se présenter. Non? C'est la présentation personnelle. La présentation personnelle. Et je m'appelle Malala. Malala, écrivez sur le chat. Écrivez sur le chat. Je m'appelle Malala. Alors, je m'appelle Malala Yousafzai. Je m'appelle Malala Yousafzai. Yousafzai. Je suis activiste. Je suis pakistanaise.
Je suis activiste.
Très bien, très bien. On répète. Répétez, répétez. Répétition, la répétition. Je m'appelle Malala Yousafzai. À vous?
Je m'appelle Malala Yousafzai.
Je suis activiste.
Je suis activiste.
Je suis pakistanaise.
Je suis pakistanaise.
Très bien, très bien. Bravo. Je m'appelle Gabriela.
Mistral.
Il y a des Chiliens. Gabriela,
Mistral.
la phrase complète, s'il vous plaît. Je m'appelle
Gabriela Mistral. Je suis Chile.
Très bien, très bien. Je suis chilienne. Répétez, je suis chilienne.
Je suis chilienne.
Je suis chilienne. Chilienne. Je suis enseignante et poétesse. Répétez, je suis enseignante et poétesse.
Je suis enseignante et poétesse.
Très bien, très bien. On continue. C'est facile, hein? C'est facile. Je m'appelle Nelson.
Je m'appelle Nelson Mandela. Je suis activiste. Je suis Sud-Africa.
Bravo, bravo. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Encore une fois, s'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
Je m'appelle Nelson Mandela. Je suis policier et avocat. Je suis sud-africain.
Merci. Je m'appelle Nelson Mandela. Je suis politicien et avocat. Avocat, non? Qu'est-ce que avocat signifie en anglais? C'est lawyer en anglais.
Ok.
Lawyer. En anglais. Je suis sud-africain. Très bien. Mes frères de la Bolivie. Il y a un Bolivien ici dans la classe. Je m'appelle Jaime. Je m'appelle Jaime Escalante. Je suis enseignante et mathématicien. Je suis bolivien. On répète, s'il vous plaît. On répète. Je m'appelle Jaime Escalante.
Jaime Escalante. Je suis enseignant et mathématicien. Je suis bolivien.
Très bien, bravo. C'est très bien. Je suis bolivien. Et finalement, je m'appelle Kamala
Harris.
Harry. En anglais, on prononce Harris en anglais, non? Harris en anglais. En français, Harry, non? Répétez, je m'appelle Kamala Harry.
Je m'appelle Kamala Harry.
Harry.
Je suis avocate.
Je suis avocate.
Et la vice-présidente des États-Unis.
La vice-présidente des États-Unis.
Je suis américaine.
Je suis américaine.
Je suis américaine.
Américaine. C'est facile, non? Américaine, non? Les États-Unis. Très bien. C'est à vous. Mon exemple. Ma présentation personnelle. Je m'appelle Juan Quintana. Je suis enseignant d'anglais et je suis péruvien. Alors, un volontaire, s'il vous plaît? Miriam ou Jenny ou Jota, Jackie?
Je m'appelle Marie Rosas. Je suis enseignante. Je suis péruvienne.
Je suis péruvienne.
Péruvienne.
Oh, la phrase complète. Je suis péruvienne.
Je suis péruvienne.
Merci. Marie, non?
Marie.
Quelqu'un d'autre? Un autre volontaire? Jota, Jackie, Miriam.
Je m'appelle Miriam. Je suis enseignante. Je suis péruvienne.
Enchanté, Miriam. ¿No? Enchanté. Très bien. Maintenant, c'est la présentation dans une conversation. C'est le dialogue, non? Les dialogues. Je lis et vous écoutez, s'il vous plaît. Vous écoutez, écoutez. Bonjour, comment ça va? Bien, merci. Comment vous appelez-vous? Je m'appelle Miriam. Et vous? Je m'appelle Juan. Quelle est votre profession? Je suis enseignante d'anglais. Et vous? Je suis enseignante d'anglais aussi. Je lis et vous répétez, Bonjour, comment ça va?
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Comment ça va?
Bien, merci.
Bien, merci.
Merci.
Comment vous appelez-vous?
Comment vous appelez-vous?
Appelez-vous.
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 Vous appelez-vous.
Vous appelez-vous.
Vous appelez-vous.
Comment vous appelez-vous?
Comment vous
Comment
appelez-vous?
vous appelez-vous?
Je m'appelle Miriam.
Je
Je
m'appelle Miriam.
m'appelle Miriam.
Et vous?
Et vous?
Et vous?
Je m'appelle Juan.
Je m'appelle Juan.
Je m'appelle Juan.
Quelle est votre profession?
Quelle est votre profession?
Je suis enseignante d'anglais.
Je suis
Je
enseignante.
suis enseignante d'anglais.
Et vous?
Et vous?
Et vous?
Je suis enseignante d'anglais aussi.
Je
Je
suis
suis enseignante d'anglais aussi.
Aussi.
Très bien, magnifique. La prononciation est très, très belle. Maintenant, un volontaire, s'il vous plaît. Un volontaire. Et qui dit je, non? Qui?
Je.
Très bien. Et vous êtes la femme féminine. Je suis l'homme masculin.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. C'est parti.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Bien, merci. Comment vous appelez-vous?
Je m'appelle Miriam. Et vous?
Je m'appelle Juan. Quelle est votre profession, Miriam?
Je suis enseignante d'anglais. Et vous?
Je suis enseignant d'anglais aussi. Miriam, très bien. Une petite
Merci.
précision. Répétez. Suis enseignante.
Suis enseignante.
Il y a une liaison, non? Liaison, non? Comme en anglais, liaison, non? Liaison. Suis enseignante. Répétez.
Suis enseignante.
Je suis enseignante.
Je suis enseignante.
Je suis enseignante d'anglais.
Je suis enseignante d'anglais.
Très bien. Très bien. Un autre volontaire?
Me?
Je, non? Je, non? Non? Je.
Bonjour.
C'est parti.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Bien, merci. Comment vous appelez-vous?
Je m'appelle Maria. Et vous?
Je m'appelle Juan. Quelle est votre profession, Maria?
Je suis enseignante d'anglais. Et vous?
Je suis enseignant d'anglais aussi. Maria, la même précision.
Ok.
Suis enseignante.
Suis enseignante.
Je suis enseignante.
Je suis enseignante.
Je suis enseignante d'anglais.
Je suis enseignante d'anglais.
Très bien,
Merci.
Maria.
Merci.
Très bien. Et pour finir, je vous invite à apprendre le français, non? Apprendre le français. Une minute seulement, hein? Une minute. Emma Watson, actrice britannique, née à Paris, non? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Qu'est-ce que née à Paris signifie? She was born in Paris, en anglais. Emma Watson, Emma Watson. Un moment, s'il vous plaît. Un moment, s'il vous plaît. Les sous-titres en anglais.
J'ai habité en France pendant 5 ans. Je suis née à Paris. Mes parents travaillaient comme avocates pendant 8 ans.
Vous écoutez? Oui? Vous écoutez? C'est clair?
Oui.
Oui.
Merci. On continue. Une minute seulement. Freddie Highmore, acteur britannique.
Peut-être 7 ans, mais Finding Neverland, ça c'était le premier film, le premier grand film que j'ai fait. Ça c'était j'avais 11 ans, peut-être 10 ans. Ouais, maintenant,
ouais, ils ont me donné après une guitare, ouais, comme celle-là. Et donc, ouais, maintenant, je pratique, mais pas seulement de temps en temps, pas 2 fois.
Et Jodie Foster, le dernier exemple, finalement, Jodie Foster, actrice américaine.
Non, pas tellement, pas tellement. C'était une année assez bizarre. En fait, j'ai beaucoup aimé Inception, j'ai beaucoup aimé aussi Social Network, et tous ces films d'ailleurs ont été honorés par la nomination.
Exactement.
Je pense que j'ai vécu les années 60, les années 70, les années 80, les années 90, et les années 2000 et 2010. Et parmi les grandes, quand même, les années 70, ça j'étais vraiment chanceuse de faire des films avec Scorsese et Adrian Lyne, enfin plein de gens dans les années 60.
Et alors, je vous invite à apprendre le français. La leçon, c'est fini. Des questions, des commentaires. We can talk in English now. C'est fini. Merci. Des questions, des commentaires. Questions, comments, please.
I was very surprised of how much I could pick up, because I don't speak French at all. And I think the way that you presented the conversations and the modeling, I felt that I could understand. So I really liked it.
Merci. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Yeah? It's a short lesson only, just for you to get a taste of this and encourage you to learn French. No, imagine, no, Hollywood stars speak French. No? It's incredible. Any other question? Before we start with the second part of the session, because there is another section for this.
How long did it take for you to reach C1 level? Like, how many years did you have to study French?
Thank you for asking that question. Actually, this is what I'm going to talk about in the next part, very briefly, okay? But I started in 2009 and I finished, well, I got the B2 certificate in French in 2012. Then I stopped. As an English teacher, I was, and I am, very busy, so I stopped studying. 8 years later, in 2020, I passed a placement exam at l'Alliance Française here in Lima to study and get the C1. I started with face-to-face classes, but here in Peru, COVID-19 outbreak happened in mid-March 2020. So I studied online. I finished in July this year, and in September, I passed the C1 exam. I'm waiting for my results, maybe in a couple of weeks, no? It's like passing TOEFL or Michigan exam or IELTS, no? It's the same level of difficulty. Yeah. So let's hope, no? Everything went fine. Yeah. Thank you. Well, let me share. Thank you, Miriam, for the question. Actually, that was the introduction for this second part. I will tell you how this experience influenced my teaching of English, but we will do it by taking into account second language acquisition hypothesis. You know that when we learn a second language on an additional language or a foreign language, there are some principles, hypotheses that underpin second language acquisition. But we're going to do it very interactively with Kahoot, okay? So please, I want you to go to this website, okay? Please. And I will open my Kahoot. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I will share my screen right now. A second. Where I am. Yeah. Here it is. I hope you can see. I hope you can see the game pin.
Yes, I'm going to put it on the chat for everyone.
Please, thank you, Miriam. En French, in French is C3018810, no? 6301880. So you go to this website on your cell phone. You can use your cell phone if you have your cell phone available, or you can use the same computer. There you go. Laughing
Yes,
out
actually, if we refresh the screen, you are going to see a Kahoot tab next to questions and answers, and that way you can play in the same screen without having to change tabs.
Oh, great. We have Kahoot integration, Miriam, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. We have one participant. Jenny, great. Maria, excellent. Remember, it's a very, very short questionnaire, only 4 questions, 2 minutes as a whole, yeah? And we will brush up upon second language acquisition hypothesis. Maybe you have heard about comprehensible input, noticing, comprehensible output, affective filter. If not, don't worry. We will see them in the Kahoot, and then I will explain anyway, very briefly. It's not a theoretical session, so we can get in touch with this. Okay? I guess we are ready, right? Jenny, LOL, Maria Rosas, Giovanna. Okay, we can start, right? Is everybody ready?
Logging in. There I am.
All right, okay. I guess we can start. Question number 1. Affective filter hypothesis is from Stephen Krashen, states that the affective filter, no? Wow. Reducing anxiety levels favors the acquisition of a foreign language. Great, you are correct. You are correct. I will explain that in a bit. Let's continue. Second, a hypothesis. Wow. Comprehensible input from Stephen Krashen states that So the correct answer is exposure to a foreign language slightly above level allows its acquisition. It's the famous I+1. I will give you more information about that in a moment with examples. Okay, Miriam is at the top, okay? There we go. Number 3, noticing hypothesis. The noticing hypothesis. Okay, so certain language features need explicit emphasis to be noticed. We will go back to that in a bit. Finally, comprehensible output. All right, producing a foreign language is necessary to acquire it successfully. You are right. You are correct. You need to articulate, produce the language. Great. So who is at the podium? Let's see. Okay, Jenny. LOL. Okay. And? All right, Miriam. Bravo. Wow. Just in case Miriam has not seen this before, yes, this is the first time she sees this, by the way. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So don't worry, I will explain. Okay? All right. So why did I mention this hypothesis? No, because these are the guiding lines when students and you guys, when you learn a foreign language. We all learn perhaps an additional language. So this hypothesis, there are many more, but those are the 4 that I would like to emphasize today. So the affective filter hypothesis, my question to you guys is, when students are anxious and they are shaking in class, well, they probably may not learn anything. So this hypothesis says we need to reduce anxiety. So we promote language learning and language acquisition, no? When the language becomes part of the student. So how did I experience that while learning French? Maybe you know this singer, no? Il s'appelle Salvatore Adam. Il est chanteur et il est belge. Elle s'appelle Isabelle Boulay, elle est chanteuse, non? Chanteuse. Elle est canadienne. So I remember that when I started learning French, once the teacher came to class with a guitar. And he said, okay, we're going to sing. And he played this song. I will play only some seconds of the song. You may know the song, okay? It's C'est ma vie. No?
a commencé par quelques mots d'amour. C'est fou ce qu'on s'aimait. Et c'est vrai, tu m'as donné les plus beaux de mes jours, mais je te les rendais.
Je t'ai confié sans pudeur les secrets de mon cœur, de chanson en chanson. Et mes rêves, et mes je t'aime, le meilleur de moi-même, jusqu'au moindre frisson. C'est ma vie, c'est ma vie. Je n'y peux rien, c'est elle qui m'a choisi. C'est la vie, c'est pas le frère, c'est pas le paradis.
Okay? So the teacher used this song in class, and what I noticed at that moment was that I instantly remember that I had heard that song when I was a kid in my parents' house. So that definitely, from the very moment, touched my heart, no? And I can sing the song almost by heart. Let me share with you this. A second. Okay, here it is. Okay. So the main chorus of the song is, no, c'est ma vie, no, je n'y peux rien, c'est elle qui m'a choisi. C'est ma vie, c'est pas l'enfer, c'est pas le paradis, no. And it's a song that is known even in Spanish, no. For the people who speak Spanish here, so that song took me to my childhood, no, when I heard it in French, because the rhythm and the beat is the same. I didn't understand that much in French, but little by little, when I started advancing, I could understand much better all the elements of the song. But when I was a very basic, French student of French, I could sing the song, and it was fun. It was really fun. And how do I use that technique in my English classes? Well, I will just mention only here. You may know this band. Who can tell me? Who knows?
That's you2, right?
Aha, ils sont YouTube, ils sont musiciens, no? Ils sont irlandais. They are from Ireland. And to teach, for example, the present perfect with the still, I use this famous song. Yeah, this famous song. I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And let me control my time, okay? And and to teach possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives, I use this song, no? Whose puppy is it? No? It's fun, no? No? Whose is it? Whose is it? No? Whose puppy is it? No? And just smile. It's my puppy, it's yours, and that continues, no? And it's really fun. So people sing, they even dance, and it's easier for them to remember when they are touched, no? So that lesson I learned from learning French, no? The other hypothesis, the comprehensible input hypothesis, says that sufficient exposure to language slightly above learner's level favors its acquisition while furnishing grammar. So when I started studying French, I was kind of desperate because I love reading. So when I was in, let's say, A1 in French, I couldn't read, what I wanted to read. So what I did was I got books for children like this. Can you see it? I guess, yeah. No, it's a very famous cartoon in French. No, Astérix aux Jeux Olympiques. No, Astérix et Obélix. There is a movie, with Gerard Depardieu, and I started reading this, cartoons. So I could read in French and guide myself with the images. And that's the way I started getting exposed to French. I even turned on the TV with a French channel in my house. Even I couldn't understand that much, I wanted to get exposed to language. But the comprehensible input for me was something like this, cartoons for kids. I could get read and understand. Later on, I could understand French a little bit better, so I found this writer, Georges Simenon. Il s'appelle Georges Simenon, il est écrivain, il est belge. And I started reading his books. I have one here. Now I understand French a little bit better. So I started reading, and I find each time I read, I find new words. Sometimes it's frustrating, but it helps, The message here is that I create opportunities to get exposed to the language. So this is what I promote with my students. Here is an extract of is something from George Simenon book. Okay, well, we're going to advance, and well, we are going to pass this. Okay, so what do I do to promote exposure to English? There are many ways for students to get exposed to English language. Okay, there are podcasts, for example. I love listening to podcasts in French, so students can listen to podcasts in English. My favorite, and the message here is, if we want to promote something, we need to love it or learn to love it. So I really enjoy the TED radio hour. I listen to that sometimes, and here students from higher levels of, let's say, B1, B2, they can get exposed to language, and they can listen to the podcasts. For students who are in A1 or A2, what I preach, what I do, Hey guys, you can get cartoons, maybe DC Comics, Marvel Comics online, and you can read and watch images on cartoons. So that way I promote reading in the class. We're about to finish. The noticing hypothesis is our students sometimes have issues noticing, for example, the third person singular, S, goes, watches, sees, because we don't have that, at least in Spanish, we don't have that. So those features of English language need to be explained to students, need to be noticed or made noticeable, My personal story with the noticing hypothesis is with the expression on y va, It means we go there in English. And I heard this expression many times when we went to the cafeteria, the teacher took us to the lab, okay? And French people say this a lot, on y va, and I memorized the phrase. But when I advanced, I got explanation to start noticing the E. I won't explain this in detail here because that's not the purpose, but that let me use this particle in French, which means there, but it has many other meanings, many other uses in French. But it was necessary that a teacher taught me this explicitly so I could start understanding better, isolating the particle, and then start using it. Okay? So in class, well, I made my students notice the plural endings in English. S, is, z, right? I use Kahoot, or during the face-to-face classes on the board, the s, is, and z on the board, and students with fly swatters when running, and I pronounce, no, for example, churches, and they had to hit is, no? So the message is sometimes we need to explain and or make certain language feature noticeable to students so they can use them, recognize them, and others may not need that level of explanation. And finally, the comprehensible output hypothesis. Have you ever heard about people who say, I understand English, but I cannot speak it? No? I can read it, but I cannot write it. No? But I understand. No? So the comprehensible output hypothesis is no matter how much exposure you have to the language, how much you read, how much you listen to podcasts, how much you read cartoons, how much you read books, magazines, it's okay, but you need to articulate the language and produce it orally and in written form. That's the comprehensible hypothesis. The students need to produce the language. And so what I did, when I was a more advanced student of French, I wrote an article for a French newspaper. So I forced myself to participate and write and publish. But you may ask me, what did you do when you were a very basic student of French? Well, I forced myself to speak in French all the time. My partners, my peers, try to use Spanish, but I forced myself to speak in French all the time. I was like the very strange guy, in the class, trying to speak in French, responding in French, bad French, but okay, all the time, because I knew that was the only way to acquire the language. I can send you the link for the article. If you want to translate it and read it. We're about to finish the session. Here it is. Let me share it with you. And just to, well, that's basically it, because I would like you to ask some questions and participate. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan.
We have some minutes for questions, I guess.
Yes, well, I have a question about French, but did you find that did you find similarities with English, like things that you could relate to and help you to learn French, or not?
Well, first, certain words are borrowed from French, are used in English. For example, fiancé, no? Fiancé. That's a word that we borrow from French and we use in English. Certain expressions. But you mean similarities. French is a Romance language like Spanish. So more than similarities, I found big differences. No? For instance, how you use the verbs. In English, for example, we say, I went, you went, he went, they went, we went, no? To say, no? But in French, it's different. In French, you have different forms for the past, no? Je suis allé, tu es allé, il est allé, nous sommes allés, vous êtes allés, ils sont allés, no? Every single noun or pronoun has a different verb form. So I realized that English was easier than French. Wait, yeah, in some way, yeah. It's similar to Spanish, very similar to our native language, Spanish.
Okay. I don't know where I heard that it was supposed to be easier to learn French if you already knew English. So that was kind of a question I already had. But yeah, I guess it has more similarities with Spanish. I'll find out once I start studying French.
Oh, great. But once you learn a language, for example, I guess you have learned English, no? It's not your native language. So once you learn a foreign language, learning another foreign language, from my perspective, I'm not generalizing, from my perspective, it's easier to learn an additional language because you have gone through the process. So it's easier in a way. Mm-hmm. In a way, you know the path, no? Well, yes, that's my perspective. So Laurel, you're sharing your screen, Laurel.
Hello. Yes, I am.
Hi, Laurel. Hello.
Hi.
Laurel, thank you for turning on your camera. I know everybody wanted to, but yeah, thank you, Laurel. So Laurel, what do you think about the first session in French or the explanation about my experience?
Yes, very, very interesting. I like the way you show that by becoming a student, we can become better teachers, because by seeing the classes from that point of view, we realize what the students are feeling and maybe the anxieties they feel. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to say that. I might say it wrong. And then we can be kinder to our students because we understand what they're going through. I think that's what I understood from what you were saying as well.
Where are you from, Laura?
I'm from England originally. I've been in Peru 20 years.
Where in England?
I was born in Southport near Liverpool. I grew up near Oxford, and I went to university in Edinburgh in Scotland. So a little bit of everywhere.
Okay, Laurel. Well, I hope you enjoy your stay in our country. No, long stay, no? I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm Peruvian now.
Okay.
This is my country too.
Okay, well, that was the message actually. Thank you, Laurel, to go through the process of learning. And also, as teachers, my second message, if you let me, is to get acquainted with certain second language acquisition hypotheses, because those are the guiding lines which let us self-assess the way we promote learning, no, in our classes from a very theoretical point of view, but still they can be useful to explain certain things, no?
Yes, but they're very, very interesting to learn. For example, the critical age theory. I remember, like, I guess we all have the feeling, right, that if you start learning a language while you're still young, it's easier. But then seeing it confirmed, it's super interesting. And Juan, I had one more question, if I may, about reading. You mentioned that you were reading the comic book while you were a beginner student. Personally, I use readers that are graded, but do you think that maybe something more graphic, but is like authentic material is better than the graded readers?
Well, from my experience, I think that graded readers are of great help, no? Great help, because they control the number of head words, no? Head words used, no? They say 500, 800, 1,000 head words, no? So they control the vocabulary. When students, talking about my personal case with French, I had to deal with the vocabulary first, and second, the culture. French people talk about or emphasize, for example, ecology, environmental issues a lot. And so those are like layers of things that you need to acquire. So graded readers help students deal with the vocabulary. And that is of great help to people who learn a new language, because on top of that, you have the cultural layer, no? So graded readers are really, really useful. And when I mentioned reading books for children, they were really books for children, no? For 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, I started reading. So I got guided by the age, actually. Okay, but okay, that was very controlled vocabulary I could understand.
Of course.
And the comics, no? The comics, in French, they are called bande dessinée, no? The comics are, if you like comics, go for them. Yeah, go for them. Go for them, okay? Yeah, Laurel. Yeah, Laurel.
Yes, the Asterix books are so French, aren't they? They teach us not only about the language, but you learn about French people and their culture and so many other things as well. They're very special. My question to you is there a Peruvian equivalent? What's cartoon? Would it be Condorito? Would it be what's the Peruvian equivalent where you're learning not just some basic language, but really the culture as well? What would you recommend?
Oh, cartoons in our country. Well, we read Condorito. Condorito is a Chilean cartoon, but it's very famous here. No, Condorito. Yeah. I could say Condorito only. No. Yeah. I don't know about cartoons for younger people available. Not really. But Condorito, yeah. It's a cultural phenomenon, no? Here.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. I guess. Do we still have time, Miriam?
Yes, I think we still have a couple of minutes in case there's
Great.
any more questions. You can write your questions on the chat or on the question and answer section, or you can turn on your microphones, however you prefer.
Yeah, come on. Well, just while people think about the questions, I know they want to ask, I invite you to learn French or the language you like, no? Or that language you always wanted to learn. Take the step, no, and learn it. It takes time, effort, I know. We are busy people. Teachers are busy. We are busy people, very busy people. Family, many things. But still, set an objective. Let's say I will learn this language and get the A2 certificate, because language center offer, no? You get A1, A2. Get an objective, go for it, and then from that point on, you go on, no? And go on, and go on. Little by little, no? Little by little. Yes. Gabriela, hello.
Hello. You know what? I am learning through Duolingo, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Russian, and Turkey. I think that was a language, I'm not sure, but I'm learning different languages, and it's not that easy, but like practicing makes me better.
Okay. Okay, and Duolingo is for free, has a paid version?
Has a paid version, but I'm using the free version right now.
Okay. All right, so I could use Duolingo to practice French.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, okay. It's a good tip, Gabriela. But Gabriela, how you manage to learn different languages at the same time?
Now, actually, I know 3 languages already. I know Spanish, Portuguese, and English, because my mom is Brazilian, my dad is from Paraguay, and I've been in like a bilingual school, so that's the reason why I know English as well.
All right. Okay. Wow. 3 languages. So you might become fluent in how many? Because some people who pick many languages, no?
And for me, I love learning new languages because it's not difficult for me. It's like I have to practice, but again, it's like not difficult.
All right. Okay. And you see things in a different way. I mean, when you learn new languages, how that enlarges your life perspective, how that enriches you.
For me, it's better when I learn a new language. I try to watch movies, but with subtitles, because I'm not like fluent yet. But again, when I get used to it, I can watch the whole movie in the other language. It happens to me when I'm watching movies in Portuguese, for example. I understand it super well, and the same in English and Spanish. So yeah.
Okay, so you get exposed to different cultures, different ways of seeing life, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you get entertained as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabriela. I guess Michael has a question. Michael, thank you for being there.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon to Laurel, Juan, Gabriela, and Miriam. No, I just joined. No questions so far.
Thank you, Michael. Miriam, I guess it's yours.
Yes. We're going to have the closing remarks in like 5 minutes. So if we don't have any more questions, I think that we could wrap up. Thank you, Juan, so much for preparing this for us. It was very, very interesting. I was super excited about this conference when we talked before, and like I told you, I was very nervous about not being able to understand any of the French part, because I think I tried when I was little, and then I gave up, and then never tried again. But it was good, and it's personally, this is what we do to students, right? We conduct the class entirely in English, and doing this and being part of this session, I guess it makes us more empathic towards students, because we understand the feeling of not being sure and being afraid to speak. So it's very good to do it as teachers.
You're right, Miriam. Yeah. Okay, so I invite you to do that as well. Learn another language and continue learning the languages you're learning. In the case of Gabriela, no? She's learning a lot of languages.
Yes, thank you all for joining us.